Who were the sons of God in Genesis? Some say they were angels, but others believe they could have been extraterrestrial beings. So turn your Bibles with me to Genesis 6, verses 1 through 4, which mentions the sons of God. Now, here's what it says. When human beings began to increase in number on the earth, and the daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. So that's interesting. Right there off the bat, humans began to increase with numbers on the earth, and their daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans, so right here we know that whoever these sons of gods were, saw the daughters of humans and were beautiful, and they married them, any of them they chose. And then God decided, you know what? I don't want humans to live as long as they're not going to continue to go on forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. So God didn't like this and made some adjustments for whatever reason. Now, the sons of God, the Nephilim, were on earth in those days and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. So I believe at this point they're naming who the Nephilim are. Now, they were heroes of old and men of renown. So something about them set them apart, which made them heroes and renowned heroes. Everybody knew who these people were. And so the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. And the Lord regretted that he had made human beings on earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So something happened with this mixture that created even more animosity than we had. It created whatever happened with the wickedness in the world. It seems that they wanted us to know that after Adam and Eve, after the serpent, we now dealt with the sons of God who came down, and seems like they married any of them that they chose. They could have whichever one they wanted. And so God then changed the age of the human life down. And now the Nephilim, which seems to be the byproduct of the sons of God and human women, were the Nephilim. And it seems that when they were heroes and men of renown, but they also brought a wickedness. He saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on earth, and that the human heart was only evil all the time. So it looks like God had allowed this to go on for a while, and then was just like, this is not what the intention was. So let's look at that. So some interpret this to mean angels. Some believe that these are angels. These are the sons of God. They are angels. Others believe that sons of God could have been an extraterrestrial visitor, that maybe God had created life on another planet, and then the aliens came to this planet and decided that they were going to share relations with humans. Obviously, they would have to have some sort of genitalia. If they were taking their daughters because they were attracted to them because they were beautiful, you could see that God saw that the sons of God saw that daughters of humans were beautiful, so they were attracted to them, and they married any of them they chose. So I don't even know if that means they had multiple daughters. And so they were then creating whatever they were to whatever humans were, they were creating what was known as the Nephilim. UFO enthusiasts believe that sons of God could have been extraterrestrial visitors. Ancient astronaut theorists suggest that these beings may have had advanced knowledge leading to the birth of giants or even human alien hybrids. What do you think? Were these sons of God heavenly messengers? Were they angels? Or could they have been beings from another realm? If they were able to reproduce with humans, did that mean that some angels have male genitalia? And if so, are they able to have sexual relations with human women? Who are these sons of God? Heavenly messengers? And, the theories range from divine intervention to extraterrestrial interference. Could God have very well done whatever he wanted to do in life, created another species on another planet, and that planet came and visited God's other work and wanted to check out what he was doing and said, "Oh, wow, these humans are so beautiful, God. I want to marry one." And then God saw what they were doing and they became even more corrupt because these visitors from another planet were corrupting them. Were these sons of God angels? And these angels had male genitalia and sperm to be able to go inside of a human and have a sexual relation with a woman, a female woman, and have her conceive a Nephilim. I mean, it's all very vague and unclear, and it doesn't go into detail about this. Imagine being told this story or living in that time. These people didn't know about kind of the things that we're talking about. So it doesn't really go into detail. And if it was sons of God are angels, why isn't it mentioned? What do you guys think? What could this be? Are we saying if it is angels that these angels had male genitalia and they had sex with women? Could it be that God has created another species and that planet went to come observe God's other work and got infatuated with our women? You guys tell me in the comments section what you think it is. So, what does this all tie into? With these biblical, what we can see as humans is that there have been mysteries that we have not been able to explain since biblical times. I'd like to say even further than that. Our understanding of what we exist in is very minute even today. When people look back 1,000 years from now, they will look at us and say, how cute. If you look 100 years ago, let's go 120. 1900, they didn't have open heart surgery. They didn't have dialysis for kidneys. I don't even know if they had penicillin yet, antibiotics. They didn't have all of these medications that were created that we have now. They didn't have cars. I don't believe they didn't have. Did they have vehicles? When were vehicles invented? Vehicles invented. So 1886. So they just started having vehicles. 1900. If we can go back to 1900. We didn't have a plane in the sky yet. We didn't have a lot of the advances. We didn't have TV. We didn't have CGI. We didn't have phones. So why am I saying all of that is that you have to understand back then, them trying to explain what happened must have been so hard to describe. But what we do know is that someone or something saw women, human being women, married them, had sex with them, and had a hybrid of some sort. And God does not seem thrilled about this. Don't see anything in the Bible that shows him being thrilled about it. In fact, later down that line in that paragraph, it seems that we were led to our own downward slope where we were full of wickedness and evil. And why was that? What do you guys think? What was so important that they mentioned that union and that hybrid and then mentioned the wickedness of men? Does it all tie together? And what it does, although I don't have the answer to that, I'd be curious to hear your answers. What does the topic tie in to today is that humans are still trying to discover who we are and where we're at in this world. And the government has recently admitted to, saying, hey, guys, guess what? We acknowledge UFOs. We have for years told you we have no idea what you are talking about. And now the government is officially acknowledging UFO reports. We've seen more and more reports from governments around the world acknowledging the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena. So they're not calling them UFOs no more. They're calling them UAPs, which stands for unidentified aerial phenomena. Videos released by the Pentagon had fueled even more speculation. As believers, how should we approach this topic? Does that scare you? To me, I'm not afraid of whatever God created. If I can see, I believe it's easier to be a Christian and harder to be an atheist because the DNA that's coded in us, the migration of animals, this lottery of evolution that just keeps on hitting the jackpot with the Powerball number time and time again. I believe this world points more towards a creator. Even we have to create stuff. We are deeply coded with DNA we don't even understand yet. So as a believer, for me, it doesn't affect me if God has a fleet of UFOs. It doesn't affect me if it's just something that we can't understand. It doesn't affect me who the sons of God were. It doesn't bother me because all of it's speculation and theory at this point. Nobody can say what's what or who's who. We don't really have any other biblical verses to look at and determine what's really going on in these scenarios. We can take logic and say, hey, Ezekiel back then didn't have a lot to describe what he saw, so he did the best he could. And what Ezekiel saw, we don't know right now. Also, we can say the sons of God who came down and had sex with and married human women, something happened where you can see right in the next verse that humankind started going on a downward path and became just abundantly evil in God. God had enough. And then enters Noah and the flood and the ark. How do we approach this topic as believers? How do you approach it? How does it make you feel? Obviously, there's also people that are UFO or UAP enthusiasts or alien enthusiasts that they believe these sightings can be related to today's sightings, UFOs, UAP sightings can be related to the same phenomena mentioned in ancient texts in the Bible. What do you guys think about that? And there is an ultimate theory that the Nephilim are a product of fallen angels. Don't know if they were fallen at that time. Fallen angels and human beings. And there is a theory out there that UFOs are just demonic entities. What do you guys think? Some see these sightings as the end times, while others believe it's simply more evidence of a universe beyond our understanding. That's definitely something that we can all agree to. No matter what conclusion we come to, we can say we really are just. I wrote a rhyme that you think you understand. You're just studying. The study of everything in the world is just a pin drop. The study of everything in the world is just a pin drop on the pinball of God, is just a tiny pin drop, like just a smidgen of ink from God's pen. And we're studying that massively, trying to understand it, thinking that we make leaps and bounds, not understanding the limitations and parameters that exist in our desire to understand anything outside of this smear of ink that we're trying to understand that God has given to us. But God has a full pen, and the pen's not even God. So just trying to understand something beyond our understanding. And that goes exactly back to Ezekiel, trying to describe something beyond his understanding and beyond relatable items. And also the Nephilim, trying to understand something beyond our understanding, something that we have never seen before and that we don't have more context of. We don't have video of, et cetera, et cetera. So let's look. I want to show you guys something before we go, is that, let me see here. Here is, speaking of Nephilim, here is a theory. The Nephilim were on earth in those days and afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of human and had children by them. They were heroes of old and men of renown, and later a Caesar of Rome. These skeletal figures represent just a few giant human remains unearthed and documented in historical records, along with the historical accounts of Goliath. That's true. David and Goliath. Who was David fighting? Was Goliath a remnant of the Nephilim? Goliath had 3 brothers as big as him? Is that true? OG king of Bashan, whose bed was 13.5 feet long, and Maximus Thrax, a Caesar of Rome. Interesting. And here is the alleged skeletons that they found. It looks like there's a 15-foot and then there's a 36-foot. Uncovered 2 of this size, an earthquake in Cimarronian Bosphorus. I don't see any. Here's an interesting take. I don't see any of these big skeletons in the United States that has been found. It looks like they're all over. They're saying Goliath was 10 foot, present day man. And then this was some bones that they found. Again, I don't have the documentation to prove if they found these bones or not. I'm just looking at some of the alleged facts, data. I mean, thank you for listening, and thank you for thinking, and thank you for subscribing. God, family, country. God bless you guys.